Aloha and welcome to this module on open source software, how to participate effectively in open source software development. And there's essentially three things that I want to introduce you to in this module. One is open source licensing and helping you to kind of understand what license you prefer for your projects. Secondly, creating software projects that satisfy what I call the three prime directives, and it's kind of a litmus test that you can use to see if what you're doing actually is amenable to the growth of an open source community around your project. And then finally, ways to interact effectively with other people in the open source community via asking questions in an efficient and effective manner. I think open source software is one of the biggest potential benefits of being in school, because you can basically take all of the projects and software that you build and put it out there for other people to see in a way that's not possible in general when you go to work in a corporation, and software, unfortunately, in this day and age is generally proprietary. The advantage to open source software is future employers can now get a really detailed look at what you're actually capable of in a way that's not possible if the software that you write is proprietary, unless they're just reading a bullet item on your CV. So really take advantage of the ability that you have now to put your work out there. Okay, so those are the outcomes. We've got a bunch of readings revolving around the three prime directives, how to ask questions the smart way. This is the essay by Eric Raymond, very influential. There's an optional reading on the cathedral and the bazaar, but I think a lot of you might want to read it because it's historically very important. It got Netscape to open source the Mozilla browser. As well as readings on licensing, and I put together a little screencast on the history of open source, which you might find interesting. There's three experiences, basically paralleling the major components of the learning outcome for this. One is I want you to go to GitHub, find a project, see if it satisfies the three prime directives, then go to Stack Overflow and find a question that is asked in a smart way along with one that's asked in not so smart a way, and then finally discuss what kind of open source license you have. We'll have an assessment that checks to see, by checking these technical essays, to assess your understanding of the concepts that we've developed in this and your ability to write a high quality essay. If we look at the schedule page for this, you can see the module starts here, and then we've got the experience is due in the early next week, and then the assessment is due, will start to happen in class on the final day of this module. Okay, so have fun with open source software. I'm really excited for all of you to become really high quality open source software developers, because I think it will make a major change in your ability to grow as a software developer and find really great opportunities after you graduate.